Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And to my left, your right,
Yeah, I was going to
if
say.
you're looking at us, Master Koo.
What's happening?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm fulfilled. I've seen Rise of Skywalker, so I'm
That's
happy.
right.
I can.
Last time you
now
were
move-
on
I can
here,
now
it
move
was one of our episodes prior to the movie.
A lot of
right?
guesswork. That was way before. That was even before I went down the rabbit hole.
You went down the rabbit hole?
That I went to all the spoilers.
I know.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Casey and
rabbit
I
hole.
basically kicked him out of the family for a few weeks
yeah.
'cause
Yeah. It was brutal.
he knew things.
I did.
On this episode, this being kind of part 3 of our Rise of Skywalker discussion, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the first week, Casey and I, of course, went through some topics in our initial review of it. We had Cody Geiler on last week. We got Master Koo on this week to dive into some more topics and get his overall take of the end of the Skywalker saga. But beforehand, we got to get to some Star Wars happenings that's been going on over the past week. First off, today, being January 15th, today, the Rise of Skywalker has now crossed $1 billion worldwide.
Don't you have to do this when you say that?
Yeah, exactly.
$1 billion.
Just over $1 billion, literally 1,007,423 to date. So just over $1 billion. I didn't look at the comparisons on how fast. I'm assuming it wasn't as fast as the other two movies.
No, yeah.
And it probably won't make as much as The Last Jedi, which ended up tapping out around 1.3, a little over 1.3. So we'll see. But, it made $1 billion. I think that's the 10th
Pretty happy, right?
Disney movie this year that went over $1 billion.
In 2019?
In 2019.
They're killing it.
Is incredible what Disney has done in the box office this past year.
Billions.
Funding all kinds of movies in the future.
Yeah.
So that's a big celebration. Another piece of news that came out, I think I'm pretty sure you guys know this and read this, but and anybody that picked up the visual dictionary of the Rise of Skywalker would know this first part, which is that the Corellian ship that's in the movie is indeed the Tantive 4, the actual same ship that you see at the very beginning of A New Hope, the very first shot of any Star Wars film. That is indeed the Tantive 4. If a lot of people didn't notice, and I hate to break it to you if you haven't noticed, but the ship goes down in the Battle of Exegol.
Oh, when does it get shocked?
It gets during the Palpatine Force Storm.
Yeah.
The pilot of the Tantive 4 is confirmed to be Nien Nunb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he died. He's dead.
Oh.
And
Moment of silence for
yeah, totally. One of the original characters from the original trilogy.
Yeah, your face is going to,
I don't know.
I did. I saw it 3 times. I never noticed it. Did you?
No,
notice it?
no. I remember shots of him in the cockpit, but I never put two, because you don't see. I mean, they're saying like you see a shot of it like
Exploding
up. Yeah. So I didn't see that part.
I was just schmitting about the whole everything.
Yeah.
I was just and I've only seen it once, but I distinctly remember the sound of the light, like
the Force Storm.
The Force Storm.
Yeah,
There was like a void of sound for a second, and it was just that buzz.
Yeah,
and it was.
In the way
it was killer.
It's the best looking Force lightning. Like it actually looks like it's a physical,
like a Tesla coil.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Because there's that they look straight down at it, and you can see along the light beam, and it feels very physical. Not just a light, not just like a laser.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Brutal.
So here's to Nien Nunb.
Yeah.
Clinky.
To you, cheers.
Yeah.
Because
Can I pour some on your carpet?
Yeah.
For
no, thank you.
Okay.
Please
don't, though. Please don't.
But it would, obviously it went a couple weeks till someone actually said it. I feel like it wasn't really
Excuse me?
known whether or not if that actually happened or not. So.
Excuse me.
But we lost him. We lost Snap, which was pretty clear. But
yeah, Akbar in the previous movie.
Yeah. So.
But his son lives on.
That's
this
right.
One, which
Akbar?
It's
Snack Bar.
Akbar is the last name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gale Akbar, something like that, right? His
I forgot.
Yeah,
I think so.
You're right.
But but it's funny because the third time I watched it, last time I watched it. Admiral was the first.
It's Admiral.
Yeah.
Admiral Snack Bar. I keep saying Snack Bar now. Great now. It's fantastic. It's a snack.
He didn't go to 5 years of fish military school to be called Mr. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, the third time, the last time I watched it, Poe, it's very in the background, but you hear Poe call him Junior in one part, Akbar's kid. I'm pretty sure I caught
actually,
that.
I think I did. I do remember that, actually. I do remember that, actually.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or Guppy.
Another bit of news that we still haven't gotten any official word from Lucasfilm regarding the Clone Wars, which apparently right now is set to return February 17th on Disney Plus, the 7th and final season there. Now, it has been somewhat leaked again, some news about that, which I'm excited about. Those of you that have followed all the kind of animatic versions of the series that has been released throughout the years years after the cancellation of the show, and if you've gone to Celebration and sat with Filoni and some of his panels, he's revealed a lot of sketches and animatronic stuff, and they actually released unfinished episodes, two particular ones, one called the Crystal Crisis on Utapau, and the other one was Bad Batch. Now, from the trailer, you see one of the characters from Bad Batch suggesting that either, obviously, the characters are in it. We don't know for sure if the entire 4-episode run is redone, and I wouldn't think they would do the entire series again. I think they would take elements of it because I think that those aren't canon anymore, and whatever the storyline they. But apparently, the news now that I'm reading is that the first episode will kick off the Crystal Crisis arc. That Anakin and Obi-Wan go to Utapau and discover some weapon that. So that 4-episode arc probably got redone and finished. Maybe it's not full 4 episodes now. They might have condensed it to 3. Who knows? But the word is right now that the Crystal Crisis is going to be the first story arc of the final season of the Clone Wars. So,
Kill.
I never could make my way through those.
I haven't watched them.
Did you watch them at all?
I haven't seen those. No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You've seen, what I'm talking about.
I know
though,
what you're
right?
talking Well, just from Celebration.
Yeah,
the things we saw there.
Yeah, I tried watching. I just, the mouths aren't moving, and because they already done all the audio. It's just the visuals. It wasn't complete, so couldn't make my way through it. But we'll find out sure enough here about a month here if it's true that it's coming back. Another rumored bit of news that's coming out is apparently with the Obi-Wan series that is filming this summer, there are some casting calls coming out there, right? One is a young Luke. One is a young Leia. But another rumored return is Jar Jar Binks.
Fantastic.
Right?
Surprising, yes.
Yeah.
Shocking.
A bearded Jar Jar, is that what I read?
What's that? I didn't read that.
Oh,
I
read
the casting call.
I read a bearded Jar Jar.
Why not, man? Times have changed. It's time to get over your...
Can't even afford a razor, this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a street performer.
He's in a tough spot.
So there is there has been a Jar Jar sighting, just like Casey says, in the Aftermath book written by Chuck Wendig. There are vignettes leading into each chapter, and one of them centers around Jar Jar Binks post Return of the Jedi. So we know he survives all the way at least till then. But in this, which is roughly 7 years after episode 3,
big tutu this time.
Yeah, who knows where he runs into him at? Because the last we'd known of him, he's maybe on Naboo still. I don't know.
Part of the Senate, I would think, right?
Well, he was
still, I guess
out.
maybe
Was he still, or was he was after the he single-handedly. Well, he initiated the.
He
the
initiated
vote.
the vote of Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's shamed by the Gungans. That's what it says in the Wendig book.
He did that. He did that himself.
Yeah, so
Way before that.
But either way, I'm not just stoked that Jar Jar's coming back, but I'm actually stoked that Ahmed Best has a chance to come back.
Yeah.
And play that character again.
Jeez, that'd be
Brave. It's brave to do Jar Jar, but I think if anything's done right, it'd be great. But I'm very, very interested to see what they do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think everybody else will.
I mean, do you think it's just a cameo, or do you think he's actually going to be a character in the series?
Be a character,
like IG-11 or something like
Quill,
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
An episode or two, maybe.
Maybe not even that much, but
Yeah.
like was it Amy Sedaris? No,
Amy Sedaris is in one episode.
Yeah, but maybe something like that.
Just like a side goofy
Maybe.
character.
Yeah,
It could be. But they know each other, so it's not like he just shows up and it's Jar Jar, but they know each other. So
Are they going to explain? Maybe I'm jumping too far down here, but kind of bugs me that he didn't recognize like R2-D2 or did he recognize? And is there anything side canon on that? That's like, I don't recall owning any droids.
Well,
you don't?
Well, he never did.
he actually never owned R2. Yeah.
Technically, sure. I guess,
and unless he shows up, which I don't think he will. I don't think R2 will show up in this series. Unless he shows up again, would have not seen him for 19 years.
Well, R2 I can understand, but you can't forget C-3PO. I mean, he's just like, goodness gracious.
But there's millions of protocol droids and millions of astromechs
that acts like C-3PO.
Yeah, they're all protocol
the
droids.
protocol, but you have to think about it. It's believable, but I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
We'll
so
see.
just suspend it a little bit and just understand that he's been
guess.
marooned there, and he just is like.
I think he's also just not want to tell Luke that. Oh yeah, I know these guys.
Yeah,
That's true too. Okay, I just needed to talk through that a little bit.
I guess. Yeah, I mean,
It's like, oh yeah,
that could be. Yeah, that could be a big question.
yeah.
But again, we'll talk about that.
Goldie and Bleep Bloop.
That theory which is crazy. Is remember that theory that came out that the reason why 3PO shuts down inside Owen's hut is because they start talking about his father.
Oh,
Anakin.
Sure.
So like his protocol is that he has to shut himself down. So
yeah, because isn't there a comic or something where it kind of dives in a little bit. I think it was in Cloud City, and Vader comes across C-3PO, and he has kind of a moment with him.
What is that
I
from?
recall seeing
that is from something.
Is it the new Vader?
It's one of the Vader comics that came out.
I want to read it, but I haven't picked it up.
I forgot about that, actually. Yeah, there's something like that in
and
there.
It was kind of like a touching moment, apparently, where he's like remembers a little bit, and because it tied something to think the maker, and every time he says that, he's thinking Anakin, so.
Yeah. Okay, I have to think about that.
Because he says something like, because they were going to destroy him, and he was like, no, just put him, whatever, and he yeah.
I have to read that.
Oh, yeah. Got to.
So there's that with Jar Jar. And then the only other thing really to discuss is that the Oscars, which are next month, have Rise of Skywalker has been nominated for 3 Oscars.
Soundtrack?
Editing, sound.
I think sound mixing.
Sound mixing, and then visual effects, I think.
But composing, John Williams got nominated.
He won. He just recently won something, didn't he?
John Williams?
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of. No, I thought it was Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. Maybe I read about
maybe there's some of those little awards, but I'll look it up exactly which ones. But it's but yeah, John. Is it? Yes, I think it's scoring. It's right here actually.
That is one thing I wish I was better at, which is, and I know Cody's really good at it because he's always the one pointing out. I feel like is listening to the themes and the songs and how they can foreshadow, and I just feel like he just picks that up, and that's one thing I wish I could.
Well, a lot of that comes from Dave Collins has a podcast, and he always does things at Celebration where he analyzes by note like these themes, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, it just shows you how incredible John Williams is. Best original score, sound editing, and visual effects are the three categories that The Rise of Skywalker. And it's pretty stiff competition, of course, with 1917 out there. And I think in visual effects, you've got Endgame in that as well. Some stiff competition. Star Wars does get nominated a lot, but they don't really win that much.
Yeah.
So don't expect too much from the Oscars. That's really all that's happening in the world of Star Wars, really. Nothing new articles or anything. They just if you go to StarWars.com, they actually just updated today some of the databank entries, updated Palpatine and Rey and a lot of these characters with just mentions of them in Rise of Skywalker, obviously. So, I was going to look. Did they actually add Skywalker to Rey's databank?
Is she hyphenated?
Rey.
I'm interested in
Rey
that.
Star Wars
I got it right
Skywalker.
here. It just says Rey still in the article. So actually, she's just Rey still on the databank.
Just Rey.
Just Rey.
What's that meme of Luke and Leia goes, hey, you want to become ghosts and adopt a grown woman?
Yeah. So Rey is still Rey on here. No Rey Skywalker yet. I will say, I will mention that, like, so I guess it was this weekend they had a big Star Wars marathon again on TNT, and whenever they do that, it's like I got to turn it on.
Yeah,
it's on in the background. Well, Force Awakens was starting, and right at the beginning, and of course, you know, the first shot of her in the mask, and then she takes her mask off, and she's drinking the water, and I'm just looking at that shot. I'm thinking, like, Rey Palpatine.
Yeah.
Rey Palpatine.
It's odd to go back and rewatch and think,
wow, what, you know? And I'll just bring this up before we get into the Rise of Skywalker, because I started thinking about it. Like, you know, I understand storytelling, and I understand that fate has a lot of impact on the way stories evolve, right? Because if you think about it. But the problem is not the problem, but the thing about Episode 4, because you can look back at that a little bit, obviously, and say, okay, so he just so happens to be that space battle just so happens to be happening above Luke's planet, and that's how Luke gets involved, right? Obviously, Leia didn't know Luke was there. Leia was going there for Obi-Wan, right? So as things happen, the droids get caught and then end up with Luke, and it just so happens to be Luke's home. You know, anyway, fate, right?
Yeah, totally.
The Force.
Totally.
Force.
Now, but you think back to The Force Awakens. Why on earth would Lor Santeca be held up and established on Jakku? Because the only way Rey even gets discovered in this whole story, right, is that the map ends up in BB-8 and ends up with her. So fate is happening again, like you know, like Luke and all that stuff. But you know, but there was a reason for Leia going there, right? So what I'm getting at is that, you know, Kylo's obviously going to Jakku to get the, because he finds out that the map is with Lor Santeca. Why is Lor Santeca on Jakku?
I thought that was.
I wish we. I don't know if there's an answer out there, but because what would be incredible is if he was there because he knew Rey was like there.
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's,
and he was looking for. I don't know. You know, I'm just trying to think of a reason you start the story there like that. And how she gets thrust in.
Wasn't he someone of like a Jedi artifact guy?
it's part of a church.
Children of the Force, basically.
Yeah. So he followed that. So because maybe he just knew there was something of interest of Palpatine's on Jakku, or there was something there. Because didn't Palpatine also have some kind of holdout on Jakku as well?
He did. It was supposedly destroyed.
Yeah.
In Aftermath, but yeah, I remember us talking about like Lor Santeca, and when we were just theorizing why he's there, who Rey is, and like, it was like one of the ideas that he might be protecting Rey or something like that. But they obviously never explained it. I thought they would have explained it in the Poe comic, but I guess they didn't. I haven't read that.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. I think it definitely leads to that. To the beginning of the movie, he gets sent by Leia on that mission. But I don't know. I just feel like that it would be a cool understanding of why it just almost seems when I watch it again, the significance of her bloodline, like that is just a very convenient way to get her back into the movie. Not by pure storytelling, but I'm just thinking by pure.
Well, why was Rey
happenstance in the movie?
Maybe he was already there when Rey got there. Like
Rey's been there,
but why is Rey? But remind me again, because I know there was that. I can't think of his name, but he was supposed to bring her to Palpatine, correct?
Ochi.
Oh,
yes,
Sith Hunter.
Well, he went there to look for them, and he found her parents.
Right,
and her parents gave her to Unkar Plot, and made the claim that she wasn't there, that they hid her somewhere else, which we joked around like, "Oh, she's not there."
Like they didn't ask her.
Wait a minute.
I didn't even ask you where
I didn't even ask you where she was. So that means she's on Jakku. Go back to Jakku.
Where's your daughter? Oh, she's not on Jakku.
What? That's a junk planet.
Ain't
no one go there.
But
I kind of think she is now. So no, she's not. Sure,
but he killed them. And left because that was the ship that she sees in her visions leaving Jakku.
Hey, he just looked out his back windshield. Yeah, like, that little girl right there. That's screaming no and pointing at my ship. Is that her? Yeah.
So he somehow Palpatine or this, what's his name?
The Sith Hunter?
Ochi. Somehow they
man?
find out that Palpatine's child, son and wife are on Jakku. I don't know how he does that. But
how long is this guy? How long is Tekka, whatever his name is?
Tekka.
How long has he been on there? That's another
we don't
question.
know that.
Yeah, because I don't know that.
Well, I'm watching. So
chicken or the egg?
I'm reading. Well, I'm reading the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. Have you read that?
No, but this, where he was in the ship.
He's in the ship.
Yeah.
So
Ben is talking to Snoke.
He's with
or
it could explain through that comic.
It could eventually. It can understand
That's
why he's
probably 6 or 8 years before
they were heading to a temple.
They said. I would say at least around 6. If Snoke's already in the picture.
Well, Ben is.
Have they set an age for him?
He looks like he just started training. So what is that? 10 or so?
He started training when he was 10.
Yeah, this is like right at the beginning of that.
Didn't this comic start with him burning?
Yeah, that's a flashback.
Or flash
forward. Is it told him? Is the
Laura Santeca scene?
Flashback?
That's a flashback. Okay. Yeah, to when they first discover the Knights of Ren. They first fight the Knights of Ren.
Okay, so it's jumping around.
So it's jumping around a little bit. But yes, it does take place when he turns or when he destroys the temple at the very beginning. But then the second issue is a flashback, because it's starting to show the relationship with Snoke when they were really young, when he was really young.
Yeah, and I also read. It may have been that same comic. Excuse me. When Snoke takes Kylo to Dagobah, right? Does he take him to Dagobah?
Yes, and that was Snoke's one shot.
That was something different.
His Age of Resistance.
But did he allude to Palpatine in some way?
Yeah, indirectly.
Indirectly.
Yeah, he said.
Jeez,
gosh, I could not.
I know. Is it like snippets of things I'm remembering?
Well, he says like. If
I need you guys to make sense of my
something about like if Luke, if you were as powerful as your father,
you're an uncle.
If your uncle was as powerful as your father or your grandfather or something like that, then I would have ruled the galaxy. He basically referred to himself in the context of like he is Palpatine.
So that
without saying,
which is another weird thing. So is it his what? What is is it him speaking through Snoke, or how? I want to know how that works too. There's a couple different questions, obviously, like how he survived and how did he manipulate, and obviously he had a bunch of Snokes in the tube, but okay.
Almost makes it seem like he genetically engineered him, like it's his own unique race, and then he's just puppeting.
How do you use the Force?
Like puppet.
put metachlorians in him?
Possibly, yeah.
And then I guess how did he
Put some of his life force in him, maybe
into Snoke?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
I want to know.
Yeah, I know.
I think we'll get all that.
I think we'll eventually get all that. Yeah, it could be in this comic too.
Like Palpatine raising a young Snoke baby.
Snoke baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that shot in the beginning of 9 when Kylo gets there and you see basically Snoke cut in half. Like, is that from the original?
Sorry, say it. What part?
The part where Kylo first shows up on Episode 9 when he walks in there. Like, you see Snoke, like
you see the
body
in
of Snoke.
tube, like several of them in the tube.
Do you see several of them?
Yeah,
there's a couple
of little copies floating around.
I saw the one that was like cut in half. It looks like, and I was thinking, like, is that the one from
I don't
Episode
remember
8?
if it was cut in half or not specifically.
I think it was only his, like, it was like his upper body kind of leaning there, and then I didn't see a bottom part of it.
I just thought it was just cloudy, murky water, and that was the closest to the edge of the tank.
Oh, you could pretty much see through it. I mean, it's that first one, that first tank, and because I kind of just thought, like, wow, they must have scooped his body up, I guess, from the wreckage, and
I guess one of the guys could have, but why would he care after that point?
I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to bring him back at all or whatnot, but anyway, I just.
He could have been the only one that worked, and maybe he got it back because he wanted to duplicate it. But because there's so many of them, I mean, it's just weird that he would make so many of them. Why?
It would. It's a little weird, yeah.
If he died, you replace him.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
So many questions, and that was one thing that I thought JJ was going to do, which was going to die it up, like it was. I mean, I guess he did with the story. I guess he did with the saga, but
I don't think he was obligated to answer
some of those little things. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, because I think back at one question I had in the prequels that eventually got answered that I said that, I mean, it's clear it never got answered, was who was Cypher Dyas? Mm-hmm. You remember that question? Yeah. Like, wait a minute. A Jedi Master Cypher Dyas ordered this Clone Wars?
Yeah,
Clone Army? Like, who the hell is that guy?
Yeah.
And
why would he do this?
And you never heard it. You never heard anything about him until there was stuff that got pushed to non-canon,
right?
That came out in the comics, but now it's canon because he got brought into the Clone Wars. But it didn't get solved until, almost 20 years later. So it's like, Snoke. That story of Snoke will come out, and who knows when. Yeah. There could be some TV series eventually that starts talking, which
Snoke.
Very much so, I think will happen. Yeah. I think there'll be
designing women.
So let's get into. Basically, I was bringing that up too about Rey's, like, because again, watching that, and then Last Jedi was airing, I guess, for the first time on TV, and it was like watching some of that. It's like, it's just
I had to do it.
It's already you're watching those with different perspectives. Yeah.
Cool.
Knowing what's coming and knowing who these characters are, it makes them a little different for sure. So one of the first topics, let's dive into this. One of the first topics we want to get into. Well, first let's talk about this, the stuff that we don't really want to talk about, but Cory, let's tell our listeners and our viewers right now what actually did you know? Because we Casey and I, obviously we didn't dive into spoilery things. We were actually off of social media for the last couple of weeks, and we were Heismaning you not to tell us anything.
Yeah, I think I did a good job though, right? I didn't spoil it.
Well, no, you tried. I
tried to turn you.
You tried desperately.
Big time.
So Cory knew some things going out. Let's tell everybody. I'm curious to know what were specifically some of those things that you knew, and how much of the film did you know?
To be honest, I can read the initial thing that I read that actually you sent
the Jedi
me.
Praxis leak.
Yes, and that is what led me on different routes, because there were some things from a lot of that was true, but there were things along the way that I would read and I would see images. There was a lot of images that Cody got really close to screwing it up for him. like the image of Rey in the background and Ben in the foreground, both with lightsabers.
Yeah,
saw that early on, which was like
with the blue lightsabers,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So that kind of confirmed a lot of what was in his. So
that was literally a leaked image from the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were a few. There was that one. There was one of the. There were a couple of the Emperor, and then later on there was some of Rey and her new lightsaber. It actually feels weird even saying all this out loud because I still feel like I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. I was in hiding for so long, guys.
It's out there. Everybody's seen it.
So, and I could take time to. I should have done that beforehand.
No, just kind of the highlights.
So the highlights. So, trying to remember.
Don't you know about Rey Palpatine?
So yes, I knew that Rey was a Palpatine. I thought the movie was going to start. Apparently, it was supposed to start with Luke and Leia fighting, and she tells not fighting but sparring, and she tells them about being pregnant, and she has to quit being, blah blah blah.
So that flashback that we saw.
Yeah, so that was the flashback. I knew. Right. I knew. Oh, geez, I knew about Han Solo coming back some way. It didn't specify. It just said it was some kind of memory ghost of some kind, which was pretty good. I knew all of the interactions that Rey and Kylo had, but I'm trying to think of something like specific. Like I knew about
Leia's involvement, turning Kylo back to Ben.
Yeah. So so it said something about her. I think her. Trying to, I don't know, going and trying to contact like ghosts, like like past Jedi, but
Rey doing that or Leia doing that?
I'm trying to think. No, Leia, like or she when she laid down, like it said, like when she died, it wasn't like a sad thing. It was like how Yoda left and Luke left. If it was just like but. Ben's turn. I'm trying to think, man. List some other big
like the whole life, the life force, like the whole sucking out the life force, healing. Like how Palpatine comes back.
Did you know Harrison Ford came back?
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah, I knew the Han Solo thing, and I knew about Rey's vision. I knew. I knew about the Death Star, about the Wayfinder. I knew about. Yeah. So that
was an early thing. I heard about that. A long time ago.
Before, like when everybody was wondering what that knife dagger was, I was like, well, it was hard because I knew it was a part of this Wayfinder, and I knew Kylo was looking for it, and I knew when Kylo found Palpatine that he told him, and then Kylo told her, and that they were trying to. He was trying to turn her, and then but the big thing is, it said that Palpatine needed both of them there. It didn't say anything about wanting one or the other, but it said the whole plan was to get them both there. So maybe it kind of did say, but it didn't say. I don't remember it saying anything about sucking the life force out of them. But the image was him doing this, and the lightning coming straight up. I saw that. That was crazy.
Did you know Ben?
Oh, and why she went back to Palpatine, and I just knew about it was like little things, the meetings, like when we were watching the trailer, because all this stuff was like I know what that is. Like when he was walking and he had the saber out, I'm like, you're like, where is he going? And I go, do you want to know where he's going? Because I could tell you right now, because I knew exactly what the way it depicted that in the spoiler. Little things like that, but the main thing to take from it is that I don't feel like it made me lose any part of the movie. Like all that stuff that I read pretty much washed away, and I wasn't sitting there expecting anything to happen. But when it happened, I was like, oh, like I remember specific things. But no, I was so jazzed and so enamored, and a lot of the adventure and the ways they got there, how everything fit together. Wasn't in there. But yeah, I'll have to go. I don't know. I'll have to. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Just that stuff. Like two things that would have made me mad was
all of it would have made me mad.
Well, I mean,
no.
I mean,
Cody almost saw the Ben thing.
The Wayfinder stuff. That's fine. The dagger. Like I could have been okay with that. I think, but two of the things would have been Luke training Leia. Like I would have not appreciated knowing that, and Rey Palpatine. I think it would those two things.
I also knew that that Palpatine was behind it all. That he was the voice of everybody too.
Yeah.
Well, that I saw that later. That was actually in a TV spot.
Yeah, that did come out.
That came out in the TV spot.
That was cool.
That's what Cody
I didn't
said.
watch that.
Yeah, see, that's what Cody said he wished he hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Was that one?
Yeah. I think Cody also saw
I didn't see it either,
image.
but I wouldn't have liked that either.
Yeah, that was really odd because me and Cody were able to talk a little bit about that scene. But what they did was, and I took a picture of it because it was such a cool image, and I was taking a ton. I was saving all these pictures because I just love to look at them. And there was one image in that TV spot. It was Emperor laughing, his laugh, and then he's sitting on that throne, and he comes out. It wasn't in the movie, I don't think, but he comes out of the darkness and he appears, and it's him. They cut that out, and they kept it black while he laughed. Don't know why they did it, but
Laughed at the end or in the beginning?
whenever he laughed in that TV spot that they aired,
Yeah, I don't know.
the same one that it was like I have been
I don't know.
every voice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is not it.
So needless to say, Cory knew some of the movie going in, spoiler wise. But let's talk about some of these topics. Mainly one that I wanted to hit on that, again, goes back to just one of the things I was actually disappointed with the film. Overall, I was very happy with it. But one of the things I was very disappointed was the Knights of Ren. Now, if you, I'll mention the visual dictionary again. If you get the visual dictionary, you actually get a lot more out of that than you ever do in the film.
Yeah.
It actually lists their names, their specialties and stuff like that. Describes them a little bit more. I mean, I think everybody since we saw a glimpse of them in The Force Awakens, it was just waiting to see them in action.
Right.
And we just didn't get nothing.
They're lurkers.
I mean, what's your take on why we didn't get anything from them?
I don't know.
Why didn't we? I mean, you had prime opportunities. They were on Pisana. I mean, you had that album artwork,
Yeah,
that album shot,
cover. Yeah.
album cover shot of the 6-person band up there.
Yeah.
And
posing.
And you had that shot of them following Chewbacca. It's like, okay.
On
it's
Kijimi.
And then
lurking Kijimi.
Yeah. It's like you had opportunities where you were setting it up and then nothing ever happened.
And I guess the intention was like, we're going to, maybe the intention was we'll build them up a little bit and just like showing how threatening they appear to be, and then we'll hold it till the very end to actually show them in action. Like that might have been the way it was, because maybe the hope was that was like the maximum amount of impact for these characters, is to show them looming throughout and then have them fight at the end, instead of having like a few battles sprinkled here and there. I guess, because that's the only other thing is like, what else could they have done besides just add battles with them throughout and like either lose or have a draw every time. Because they couldn't have won. They couldn't have fought and defeated Rey.
Well, you could have seen
the credits.
Yeah.
You could have seen. I think it would have been neat to see them and Chewbacca fight a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you've never really seen Chewbacca. You see him shoot blasters here and there, but and Solo was like the only time we ever seen him like just go crazy.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to see him fighting the Knights of Ren. I thought we were seeing that. I was like, wow, this is gonna be cool.
Them just at least catch up with them once, and they could have very easily caught up with them, and then got their, the gang got their butts beat. Yeah,
Just like, hey, come over here. Come on, work on this ship.
yeah.
Put on these badges. Got him. Yeah.
Good job. By the way, I can answer your question a lot better now. After this.
So Knights of Ren was a big disappointment. I just feel like we did get some rumors. I remember we did get some rumors of a scene in episode 8 that when the thought was that the Knights of Ren with Kylo were going to invade Ahch-To, basically,
right.
And there was going to be a big battle there, which just
would have been awesome.
Just visioning that would have been just crazy. I mean, we were talking about that, But nothing like that ever happened. In fact, they never showed up in the episode 8. So that was disappointing. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we don't get really much of them until the end. But then in the end, they just get wiped out by
a lightsaber.
Ben Solo.
Yeah. As long as if he doesn't have a lightsaber, they're good. They can kick his butt.
Yeah.
Suddenly they have the lightsaber and they all back away.
Yeah. Well, sorry guys, got my lightsaber. Yeah. You're dead.
So that's
I think they'd have some kind of lightsaber fighting tech. I mean,
well, they have the force ability. They are force sensitive.
They are.
They could have used it a little bit.
A little too sensitive.
And then
they lost.
And then some of their weapons are resistant.
Yeah.
So it could have been.
I mean, it seemed like the Praetorian he had more trouble with the Praetorian guards than he did Knights of Ren. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Knights of Ren.
Yeah,
Knights of lose.
I know. Yeah,
yeah. No, winning there, right? Yeah. yeah.
Another thing that I was ultimately a little not disappointed, but I felt like it wasn't necessary. I thought one of the strongest scenes in the movie, which is something we got in the trailer, which is when 3PO is basically sacrificing himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. With his memory. I thought that was a beautiful scene. Mm-hmm. I thought it was would have been a great kind of culmination of his character. Now, I will say real briefly, too, back, I don't know, months ago when we were talking about this, I didn't know particularly what we were talking about, but remember I brought up Kevin Smith had talked about being on set. And he had talked about it. He briefly said at his podcast that he was on set for, by far, this person's best performance of his career. Mm-hmm. And he now is saying that was that 3PO scene. It was Anthony Daniels who he was talking about. And I agree with him. I think that was that, and I think that would have been a great, again, close to that character. Like he everything, all 9 movies. The only person that's really been in all the movies besides Solo. I think it would have been. I would have been totally okay if he never got his memory back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when it was happening, I actually never thought he was going to leave there. I thought he was just going to be done.
Yeah.
Like he was never going to be a droid again. I don't know. What do you guys think about 3PO's character?
Wasn't it like? Didn't they say, like just back him up with R2?
Well,
I'll never trust R2.
They asked if he has if he has backups of his.
Yeah.
But
memory.
like the reason, so you're telling me the reason that you don't want to save your memory is because you have such a grudge against R2, like you don't trust him with your like memory base.
Yeah,
like
it's so unreliable. It's like he's the most reliable. Because he knows everything.
Yeah.
So it's just
because he's never been wiped, right?
No.
Yeah, well,
Not that we know of. No,
that's a huge national security situation there. So I mean, it was great, and that was one of the things that I knew about, as seeing all those, I knew what was going to happen to him, but I didn't. I did not expect for his memory to come back. I thought that was kind of like a great way to basically kill him without killing him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you don't really need to see C-3PO get blown up. You know what I mean? So
disturbing.
Like his memory being gone is almost just as sad, or if not sadder. So I'm with you on that. Just the fact that we got his memory back, kinda. He's not all the way back, right? Because there's like
a little bit of time loss, like a day or two.
Well, it was only a day or two.
Well, I don't.
R2, what did he do? Just, why'd you do that?
Someone talked about that. I can't remember what they said. Someone talked about when he got his what was the last time he backed it up? And they're saying, I thought I read that.
That's when he charges, right?
I thought I read something that it wasn't backed up for a long time, like almost to like The Last Jedi kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Well, 3PO and Rey were never together in that movie.
And,
because that's what 3PO mentions.
Right? He says,
because 3PO says, like, R2, I'm about to go on my first mission with Mistress Rey. He's like, I just did? Oh.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
So it's like, so you're talking about the mission to Pisana.
Right before to Pisana.
Yeah.
Yeah. my first mission with. Well, I mean, but if he never went on a mission in that entire year, it would still be his first.
As far as we're concerned, that was his first.
So
one,
everything ended up great. Everything ended up okay.
Lost maybe a day,
and now he can speak Sith. So that's
So
if anything, he's come out better.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, that was cool. And I knew something. There was an early rumor, something was going to happen with 3PO, but it was emotional. But and I thought it would lose its impact. But then the second, third time I saw it, I still felt the moment where he was losing his memory, because his performance was great. So you still feel it a little bit there. It was weaker for me the second, third time, but still felt something because it was just such a good moment. But yeah, it's the payoff is no longer there. Like it's just
agreed.
Empty.
But I think
it's just not sustained.
I think the strongest viewing of that scene is still a trailer, actually. Because the music kind of kicks in right after that. Yeah. And it's like, wow, that's really good.
Friends.
Yeah, they're your friends, but you're not looking at Luke or Leia.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who are posers.
Posers, yeah. Kids. And it would have been, I felt like it kind of would have been, I mean, yeah, because Chewbacca wasn't there, and it would have been like none of the original characters were there. It would have felt even more impactful if like R2 was actually there. But then he could have just downloaded real quick.
Like, no, you're fine. Yeah. Just go ahead and do it. I'll fix you later.
Yeah, we'll be okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Luke couldn't be there. Leia couldn't be there because at that point she'd already laid her sleepy butt down. There. And Lando,
yeah. The next thing, let's talk about this real fast. I don't know how much we can talk about it because I don't know how much it's been, but this whole concept of the dyad.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know if we're going to get too much information beyond this. I think we will at some point, what that whole thing is. You would think, I guess, if that was kind of out there, a great book that would have brought that out would have been Master and Apprentice, possibly, if there were some philosophies around or prophecies around a dyad.
Remind me what the dyad is again.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know.
The only thing really is in the
it's an old wooden ship.
I believe in the Civil War era. The Civil War era. And he's like, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Spot on. What was what was it? I can't remember.
Anchorman?
Yeah, what was he actually saying? Like, I believe.
Oh my gosh!
Anyways,
I don't know what they were actually trying to.
I'm looking up some Star Wars stuff to chat back because.
But where was it mentioned? Like, I don't.
The dyad?
Yeah. Like, what do you?
Well, Kylo first mentions it to Rey when. I think when
she's in
when they're force Skyping.
Yes, when she's in there with getting the dagger.
Yeah.
When he first starts talking about her parents.
Like what the Emperor doesn't know is that we're a dyad in the Force. Now how he finds out, maybe the Force just tells him that they are.
Now I remember.
Or he knows something from Luke that confirms.
I needed the. Can you say it in a sentence, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Palpatine.
I think Palpatine. They don't. I think. Wait, he says Palpatine doesn't know.
Yeah, well, Palpatine doesn't know because he doesn't know until the end. He sucks the life out. And he's like, oh, he has a moment where he's like, oh, he looks at his fingers. He's like this. I haven't seen this in generations, or this hasn't been seen in generations, or whatever.
I thought it was just because it was like
because then he changes his plan.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, now I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's a question of how did Kylo find out?
But I can die from a deflected lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm trying to look because I thought I saw where it was in that Secrets of the Jedi thing, but I don't think it is. But that would be a good place to be in there if it is.
My only theory that I could put together is that somehow does a dyad. Well, first off, does a dyad reflect anything to do with the dark side and the light side, like equal light, equal dark? Because my kind of thought was that because of their bloodlines, that they are grandchildren of essentially the most powerful light and the most powerful dark.
Yeah.
Right? Anakin and Palpatine. And it's like they're the descendants of those people. Maybe that's what makes a dyad, is that they are descendants of...
Did you look?
Well, there's something a little bit in this. There's not much at all.
Yeah.
At any rate. But like... Apparently, there is like a prophecy,
Oh, there is a prophecy.
and I'll try to find it here really quick.
Yeah, I
may have not.
I started trying to look that up, but I never.
Did you look up what a dyad was? Sorry,
Dyad probably means two.
As a structure in the cardiac. I don't know. Even
well, it's an old
located at
word that
Z line
typically means two, but like triad, dyad.
Yeah.
But like the thing that I thought of at first was if there's any connection between dyads and the whatever, gosh, what are they called? The ones or whatever, the Mortis family, the brother and sister. Like I thought maybe the brother and sister might be like
a dyad,
a version of the dyad.
Well, that's what it says. Is only two people, like a brother sister dyad or a mother child dyad.
Well, or I guess I guess maybe they're saying that they have to be family, but
so maybe they're the two most powerful things in the Force at that moment. And
it just says a prophesized dyad. That it is prophesied. Snoke knew that Rey and Kylo were linked through the Force. Prophesized dyad connected.
So he didn't link them.
So this make it look more complicated. If Snoke knew that they were, but Palpatine didn't know, that's a little hard to believe.
Planning
so here's this that's in Wikipedia. It doesn't list it as canon, but yeah, it is canon. So this is what it says in Wikipedia. It says a dyad in the Force was the pairing of two Force-sensitive beings, making them one in the Force. The power of a dyad was as strong as life itself, and the individuals who formed a dyad shared a connection that spanned across space and time. It was foretold in a prophecy that there would be a dyad in the Force, which had been unseen for generations by the time of the New Republic era. The prophesized dyad was realized within Rey and Kylo Ren, although they were enemies during the war between the First Order and Resistance. Rey and Ren shared a unique bond that featured prominently in the lore of the Sith Eternal Cultists. During the Battle of Exegol, the life force of their dyad was used to restore the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. So that's just full from the movies. But interesting that they mentioned shared a connection that spanned across space and time. So I guess that would be still. Would that mean? Would there still be a difference between that and what Luke did? I mean, Luke spanned his consciousness in a sense, right, across space and time when he projected himself to Leia, to everybody, to Kylo. I mean, I'm assuming that's a different method than what they're talking about, right? Because with Kylo and Rey, I mean, they could see each other. They couldn't see their surroundings necessarily.
But they could pass whole objects.
They discovered.
I think their minds were bridged, but the reason why that almost like awakened it to me. But then it just like it just grew since now that we're aware of it.
Because Snoke claimed to do that in episode 8.
Yeah.
Which is this kind of a retcon that JJ's saying that it wasn't Snoke, or that now they just have the ability to do it on their own?
Like, again, I'm trying not to think it's as a retcon, so I'm trying to justify
because they were
otherwise.
still doing it. They did it at the end of episode 8 after Snoke had died.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what made me think like, oh, there's something more to it there. But like, yeah, I mean, Dyad. Sith mentions Dyad, that kind of stuff.
And it was hinted in episode 8 that they could physically pass things. You remember Ren's hand was wet,
water,
right? Mm-hmm. So there was hints of that something will happen like that.
I mean, I think I like that. I like that was carried through the movie and then also expanded, like built upon.
That's really powerful to be able to pass a lightsaber through the Force.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, and it should only be able to be done by them and never ever again.
I think so.
Okay.
And I think that's the
point.
That's why
open that can of worms.
If anybody else tried it, they would die. It would be too much.
Yes, that's what they're saying.
Use up too much of their life force.
But it comes into question, I think, a little bit, and I think a lot of people are having this problem, is that why even bring that up? Like, could the movie still be kind of the same thing with no mention of a dyad? That they're just two powerful beings, and you could almost make the argument that because Rey has force healing powers, that's all that Palpatine used to restore himself. Like he sucked the healing power out of her. And,
and he rogued her.
You know,
Wolverine.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing, if they maybe added a little more and explained how it relates to the balance in the movie, then it makes sense. Because I keep thinking, like, is there now true balance more than there ever was? Because since Rey and Kylo or Ben and Rey are a dyad that and Ben passed off his life to Rey, does the dyad and the fact that he passed off his life to Rey kind of like make the dyad one in Rey, meaning she is both parts of the dyad, but also now both parts of light and dark side, and so she is representing the true balance.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah,
again, that's just me thinking. But it's not like I wish they would. Maybe the book will expand on that idea a little bit more, or hopefully we'll just get more. I like to think that maybe they'll explore that in this rumored High Republic series of films, and the Project Luminous in general.
Project Luminous,
could definitely expand on that, which would be pretty exciting.
Are we going to ever see anything further ahead than
so far? No,
than Rey?
Possibly, I think so.
Eventually, I'm sure. Yeah. Gets to.
I just think this is one example of. You know, and again, this might be me, and this might be me just kind of picking apart in my mind, maybe the lack of like an outline for 7, 8, 9. Like I feel like they produced one movie and then it ended, and then okay, where could we go now? Where could we go now? Instead of having that full game plan.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that also is that I think, you know, stuff like this where things that pop up back into this movie that were never mentioned or even hinted at were Palpatine, were the Dyad, you know, Leia being trained. You know, it's just we got thrown a lot of new information in this. And normally in trilogies, you're not getting a lot of new information in the third one. You're just getting things answered.
Yeah.
Like you have all these, you usually have all these questions. Like, who is the Dyad? You know, is Palpatine really coming back? You know, I'll throw this in there. Like, I had lunch the other day with a very good friend of the podcast and the network, Chad Perkins, that we've had on here. We went to lunch and we were kind of talking about this. He actually had a great idea. Now, I don't know how it would fully work, but I thought it was a great idea. He said one way you could have hinted at Palpatine in episode 8 is at the end of 8, instead of Broom Boy, you actually have the broadcast of Palpatine's.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Like, that would have been a hell of a way to end that movie.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden,
all of a sudden he just shows up and it's like, what? You know, because...
What?
And then you had then in the storytelling of that year, in novels and stuff like that, you could have had them diving in a little bit more about, was it really him, and you know what, you know, those questions, you know, then you still have those questions lingering going in, and then they're answered in episode 9.
That'd have been cool.
So stuff like that, like I'm starting to kind of think about those things, and I'm just trying to think about, I don't know, ways that. You know, obviously, I do like what they've done with some of this stuff, but it's like maybe that could have made it better. I don't know.
I mean, yes, I can tell you right now, it's not a maybe that would have made things a little better. But yeah, that would have been really cool. Instead of after the fact hearing the broadcast, I think what was it from? It was from Fortnite or something.
Fortnite.
So I heard that. I think it was after the movie when I finally heard it.
Oh yeah, but they actually showed that before the movie.
It was right.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it until
I
afterwards.
saw there was one scene in the movie that I saw that was bleh. But no, I didn't. I didn't hear about the broadcast until after.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody thought it was actually real or not.
I didn't hear about it at all. Yeah, people were saying, "Did you guys just hear? Like, did you?"
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Even
apparently
I thought I was pretty in tune with all it. I mean, no, I heard nothing about it.
Like I knew they were doing the special look in Fortnite, and they had the special game mode for Fortnite. But
I would never thought they would have played the broadcast in that. Yeah. So, all right, Coup Master Coup. Overall, just a brief review. Where does this movie stand in your mind? How, what rating kind of do you give it? Where does it land as far as your thoughts on overall of the film?
I mean, overall, but brief. I loved it. I've only seen it once. I would love to see it at least again.
We'll go again. Yeah, we'll go again.
But it was pretty. I mean, at the time, it was everything that I wanted to see, and it was everything that I was like, "This is great. This is obviously." I thought it much better than the last one, and it literally felt like the middle. I felt like the middle movie didn't even exist. Like this was a sequel to A Force Awakens. Like it for some reason felt like that at the time. I don't know if it will feel like that again if I watch it again, but yeah, it was fantastic. How it ranks, I still haven't been able to pinpoint that. I've seen a lot of people's rankings, and it's not that far up there on some people.
Most people, it's in the middle.
It is in the middle.
Pretty much all I've seen.
But see, I'm different. I'm biased because I love the Sith and the Empire and the Emperor and all that stuff. So, I mean, for me, it's like bringing back one of my favorite characters that they killed. Just like Maul. Bringing him back was like, okay, well, Solo's my favorite movie of all time now. So, yeah, I don't know. Great. Perfect.
It's just weird. It's weird for me because I feel like, especially on Twitter, which Twitter had a couple years ago when when The Last Jedi came out, you just read in threads like a ton of hatred for that movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like now all of a sudden I'm seeing all this love for The Last Jedi that I never saw before.
I'm just seeing it quiet about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I've seen more love.
But
lately.
when people are ranking, like I see people's rankings, and a lot of them that put it in the middle have Last Jedi very high on their list, like the best, like their favorite movie or the second favorite movie of this saga.
Yeah.
But I've also seen reviews with the headlines like "Rise of Skywalker" like destroys Star Wars, like it's just ruined everything. There's a lot of those.
The majority
too.
of what I've seen about this movie is hatred.
Like Disney ruined this. Like what are you talking
it's getting
about?
Me pretty depressed for the Star Wars community. Everything I've seen about this movie,
it's just crazy.
But that's why it's like I'm glad we're splitting this up. We're trying to keep the momentum going.
Yeah,
by being positive.
Yeah, I mean,
addressing the issues, but being positive.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely issues that we have with the film.
But I just think people are getting hung up on. For them that's important, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's like there's so many things that like where has Palpatine been? Is Snoke a puppet or is he his own person? It's like little things. It's like I don't need to know that to understand this movie. But yeah, I want to know. But to like this movie, I don't need to know. So it's like things like that people are getting really hung up on, and it's hurting their opinion of the movie. It's like I wish it wasn't, but I get what you're saying about it. And okay,
I mean, I can suspend my disbelief for some of the things that are just the new information that's popping up and be like, okay, well, this is new. But there were things fundamentally for me in The Last Jedi that just that I found myself paying more attention to those things than I was. To the story.
Enjoying
the story. I was, especially the more times I watched it. The more times I watched it, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. There are a few specific ones.
See, I've actually found myself appreciating it a little bit more, but not the parts that I have problems with.
Yeah, certain parts.
There's definitely parts I have problems with that I can't get over. But the stuff with Kylo, the stuff with Rey, even the stuff with Luke, like, that stuff's really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
And,
so
a lot more of that and less of the other stuff would have been better.
Right.
I see a lot of people talking like in The Rise of Skywalker that why didn't they just do the Holdo maneuver all over? Everybody just does the Holdo maneuver.
One of those can of worms, man. I know. Yeah, that you open that up when people realize it's like. okay, we can do that.
Why did they do that to the Death Star? It's like
it kind of makes sense why he can't, judging based on what we already know about
Nobody
canon,
wants
and
to.
like because Finn says it's 1 in a million, probably because you can't just, as we talked about, you can't just say I'm going to go this direction in hyperspace and boom, go like you have to go hyperspace through hyperspace lanes.
yes,
And that's why it's 1 in a million, because Holdo went through a hyperspace lane that so happened to go through where they were.
I guess, yeah.
That's the way it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like,
It does
okay,
make
like
sense.
you're right. That's going by what you've already established in
So they made the
deep
mistake
canon.
of like sitting there at the exit of
Like they're just-
an exit.
Well, plus they never anticipated anyone would ever do that. I mean, no one's ever done that in recorded history, probably.
Well,
and
now they know.
And you would think that there's possibly some navigation protocols that keep you from doing that.
Exactly.
She maybe just overrid it.
Yeah.
That's overridden the protocols in order to be able to execute it manually.
1 in a million. Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of.
Like this, I guess the same way they described Luke killing the Death Star, which was that was a great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just trying to tie.
I just use the Force.
yeah. That's not how the Force works.
Crush the ship with the Force, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
So I don't know. I will. I've been actually moving it up and down my list. I don't know where it lands yet.
Yeah, it's a trombone of a
Do
movie.
you guys in the Star Wars saga?
Sega. It's called Sega.
Sega. Do you incorporate Solo and Rogue One?
it's not.
Or so you're those are
not when we're just talking about the saga. No.
so just the Skywalker.
Yeah.
You're just thinking of the Skywalker story.
Yeah.
Okay. Because those movies are up there for me. Both of those.
Yeah. Overall, I think right now, to me, it's 1 and 1A. Actually, I think Rogue One is 1 for me, and Empire is 1A still for me overall. So
1A.
I mean,
it's
Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi probably will always be my. If we're going just Skywalker or Skywalker saga, Jedi probably will be number 1 for me, and I really don't see any reason why Rise of Skywalker shouldn't be number 2 then, and then maybe Phantom is 3, and whatever last is that's the the Last Jedi. But actually, it used to be Clones, Attack of the Clones.
You put Clones ahead of Jedi.
I put Clones ahead of Jedi now. I honestly do. Last Jedi. Yeah. I honestly do, because if you're watching some of the prequels, they're a little chintzy feeling sometimes, but the story's still there, and I enjoyed rewatching those. That was when Disney Plus came out. I watched
episode 3. I mean, going into 9, 3 was my second favorite. It's my second favorite.
That's in the top 5.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Mine was Empire, then
Jedi Rise,
then Revenge.
I guess it has to. Phantom.
Right now, I would probably put Rise up second.
That's my comfy too. I think I'm Empire, Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens. Wait, hold on, sorry. Yeah, I guess Force Awakens. That's kind of blurted that out. I guess that's right.
Yeah.
But then you get the hair, like Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith. I don't know. And then it starts, because that's where it becomes like with time.
Yeah.
Being apart from these movies,
time changes
it's like
a little
I
bit,
can't remember. It's like
Phantom of the Menace was really cool for me. One, obviously, because Darth Maul's in it, but 2, it was kind of our generation's trilogy.
Yes, totally.
So it was like, we had grown up with it just because our uncle was.
we just knew it.
Yeah, we just knew of it, and we played with his toys, and there were really no only Star Wars toys we had were his old toys. Right. That had the lightsaber out of the arms, and Yoda had a real, cloth.
Oh, the cloth capes,
and then his old TIE fighters and stuff. So when that came out, it was like, this is all of our stuff, and we get to collect it, and we get to.
We had a lot of the Power of the Force toys too, like
Power of the Force,
Buff Lukes, the Buff Luke, and Buff Leia.
The Buff Chewbacca was Buff Chewbacca, Buff Lando.
Yeah,
good God,
your chest, your tank.
What is going on down there?
Where the weight room is? I'll figure it out.
Yeah, who sculpted those?
I would say for me, it's 5, then 3. I'm sorry, 5, then 2, I'm not.
What?
No. 5.
Is there a 9er in there?
And 9.
You're watching Walkie Talkie?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. 5 and then 9.
Second place.
I'm trying to think
Two
of- I'm
place.
trying to think of-
number 9.
Just use the titles. no one-
Numbers. Okay. Empire.
Use that.
Okay.
Roman
Then
numerals.
Rise. Then Revenge.
V 1X.
Then Return.
Okay. That's a very
That's 4.
memorable.
And then I would do Jet. I said Return, and I would do Force Awakens,
Mm-hmm.
A New Hope, Phantom Menace, Last Jedi, Attack of the Clones. That's probably what I would do right now,
Not bad.
as of this moment.
Not bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I have a buddy of mine.
Last year, though, or 2 years ago, leading up, Last Jedi was at the bottom.
Yeah.
It has moved up one.
Yeah.
in my list.
He moved up a notch in my book. Puts you at notch 1.
Oh man.
No,
yeah, I don't
Adam
know.
Horn, another friend of the show on the network, but he's before Rise of Skywalker, we were texting a lot, and he's saying he's like, I am actually a big fan of Attack of the Clones now. What is wrong with me? Like he feels with age and time, I
What
just
has
like
happened? Yeah.
my whatever my standards have just like lowered. And it's just no.
Lowered.
I was like, you're not wrong, and me
Yeah.
too. Like I appreciate it more. Like it still is a bit long and just kind of nothing
Yeah.
happens, and it's just bad dialogue. It's like, but it still has really cool
Oh yeah.
pieces laid out.
Yeah.
They just didn't focus on the right pieces for the movie. So
It's
Very
Vader.
true.
It's Vader. I mean, it's coming to. I
Yeah.
mean, it was really cool because it was. I mean, we had never seen that many Jedi. I feel like
No.
together, and it was
Not that many lightsabers.
it was Mace
no.
Windu's purple lightsaber. That was crazy. You know what I mean? Like we hadn't seen it before that, right? Yeah, no, that was when we first saw it. So we were like, a purple lightsaber.
he was
Like I thought they were blue and red.
he had he had a blue one. That's what the toy was.
Yeah, blue one
Yeah.
initially. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there were aspects of it that were in Jango Fett, in Boba Fett's thing, and the clones and interesting.
No, it
Super
was
cool.
It was. I remember the marketing for that when it first came out. The teaser was just Vader's breathing, and it had just images. Jango flying around and Yoda and Dooku and all. I mean,
we saw Yoda for the first time.
it
like,
was
flip flopping around.
in the theater. It was incredible. I remember thinking it was incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of lightsaber fights. That's what I like
Yeah,
to see.
totally. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thanks to Master Koo for stepping in and offering his insight,
My pleasure.
his
My pleasure.
spoilery insight.
But real quick, do you want me to real quick go down the list? I got the list. I got it.
But you knew.
Yeah,
What
what
you
I knew,
knew?
like really quick. I think I can do it really quick. So I already mentioned
27 seconds.
I did it. Did you hear it? Did you catch it? You gotta slow it down. Yeah. You gotta. So I already talked about the Wayfinder and the unknown regions finding that. Let's see. The Death Star destroyers. I knew about that. That was pretty cool. That he'd spent 30 years building the all that, and the Sith. I knew about because the Sith troopers I think were really like, what are they? Like I knew that they were emperors, and I knew that they were in those Death Star destroyers. I guess is what I'm calling them. I don't know what they're called. That they went to the celebration. All the places that they went, I knew about. Actually, it said that he had captured the Falcon in this, and that they snuck on board to get it back. Which was so there were things that I didn't realize.
Well, they snuck on board to get Chewbacca.
Right. Yeah. See, that was no idea that happened. So when that happened, I was like, just like, what the, like, what's happening here? Yeah. So it says that was a big one. But everything and the C-3PO modified. Yeah. Knew how that. Her force vision that she fights her force vision. I knew about Hux.
Oh.
That was one of the early things.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And the big thing at the end, and I'll skip all the way to there because there's a lot of other little things. But the big thing at the end was that so apparently, not all of it was in that, but apparently the end as I knew it was, Ben dies, Emperor because at first Rey and Ben both fight him together. He kills Ben, disables Rey, and this said that Luke's ghost and Leia's ghost come back and help him and help kill the Palpatine with Rey. Mm-hmm. But then there was another version that I read where it was so they killed the Emperor in the. She ends up finally. He kills Ben. She kills the Emperor in the physical world, but then in the afterlife, he also has to be defeated because he keeps coming back. So the ghost of Luke and the ghost of Anakin actually meet him there and kill him for once and for all. From on all sides.
So you walked in there thinking you were going to see that?
I walked in. I walked in at least thinking I was going to see Hayden Christensen as a Force ghost in some way, and so that was real disappointing. That was real disappointing. That was one of the biggest disappointments.
Yeah,
was not seeing him as a Force ghost.
Agreed. No, agreed.
So
everybody wanted that.
That was that.
I think everybody wanted that.
I think they had talked about it. I think they had talked about wanting to do several Force ghosts, but it just meant more because I knew about her going back to Tatooine and burying the sabers in the sand. But I didn't. I figured they would. I don't know. Yeah, but anyways.
So, kids, there's a lesson there. If you're on the internet, you will get spoiled.
Yes.
If you decide to, yeah, man.
Or if you decide to deep dive into it,
but it was fun.
You can find out the entire plot of a movie.
Like I said, it did not ruin, if anything, for me. I sat there.
That would have ruined it.
Yeah, I would have been.
I sat there like a kid watching it all unfold. It was. I was bawling. Chewbacca's breakdown, bawling. Yeah, yeah. It was good stuff.
Good stuff. Thanks everybody for checking us out. We'll see you next week as we continue this. We've got a couple more episodes we're going to do on the Rise of Skywalker before we move on to what's coming down the pipeline, which of course is the Clone Wars. We still have, I think, after we wrap this up, we've got to do a kind of a big, season summary for Mandalorian. We haven't really have a chance to talk about that. But Mandalorian Season 2 is coming our way this fall. I'm guessing it's going to debut at Celebration in Anaheim in August. Yeah. As well as my theory is that the next animated series is going to debut there too. I have a feeling.
I think we're going to find out what it is this spring, and it'll premiere in this fall. That's what
I'm saying. August at Celebration.
Yeah. They'll show the first episode there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally think that's happening.
Yeah, but it won't be the first time we'll hear about it.
No, agreed. No, cool. We will get
that. Would be crazy if you're like, oh yeah, here's the next show. Oh yeah, and here's the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
That's how I kind of felt the Celebration we went to was. I just felt like I
said
maybe
Rebels was ending.
Well, yeah, I just didn't know some of that stuff. You guys may have heard about it, but I just feel like some of it was like, oh, here's this new thing, and here's this little piece.
Oh, we didn't know we were getting
Resistance wasn't known then.
It's like you liked that,
but
well,
they
here's a whole
said
episode.
We were going in
the
for
first 10 minutes.
You're talking about when we saw the premiere of Rebels, that season 2?
Maybe. I think it was a lot for Mandalorian. I didn't think we would see what we saw for.
Oh, you're talking about this past Celebration?
Yes, the one that I went to with you guys.
Yeah.
So there was some of it that just
I thought we could possibly see it.
There was a lot of Rebels too. They did show a lot of that. I remember now. Was it Rebels that we saw, or was
it last one?
Yeah,
we went to a Clone Wars panel.
Clone Wars,
yeah, about the new stuff coming out.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
But they didn't show any footage. It was just a lot of stills.
They showed the unfinished rendering of Anakin with Ahsoka meeting the Rex, and they had the.
We saw some of the Bad Batch stuff too.
I mean,
a little bit.
They showed some unfinished. They showed the like a sizzle, I think, of some of the episodes I included. That's why we first heard it, and then they showed that Cad Bane thing.
Yes,
or unfinished part, but that's not going to probably be. I don't know if that's going to be in the season 7 or not.
Could be. Yeah,
could be.
Cad Bane's going to be on Mandalorian.
Cad Bane.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Yeah,
I hope that's
actually second. I think we've already mentioned that.
Yeah. Damn.
All right, so thanks for joining us, everybody. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, InsideTheForce.com. We will be back next week. Have a great week, everybody. For Cory Cooley.
Bye.
For Casey Cooley.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave Cottingham. May the Force be with you.